Now that Mamdani has won, the potential effects of a $30 minimum wage on the restaurant industry are going to be a tsunami. The people who work there and who will make $30 an hour, and I'm sure it's going to be a progressive raise, not all of a sudden in 1 year, they will be much better off, and they should be because they work hard. But it's a waterfall effect because the people who are above them are going to have to get a raise, et cetera, et cetera. So there's this effect up the ladder. Secondly, the restaurants themselves are where are they going to get this money from suddenly? It's going to have to come from the customer, and it's going to have to come from reorganizing their operations. It's going to have to come from creating different products that are more profitable. It's going to come from being more careful on their menu engineering and mixing in more high profit items. At the end of the day, some are going to fail. The small restaurant operators are not going to be able to make it. The bigger operators that are a little bit better at it might be able to re-engineer. And the luxury, even they will have to kind of reconfigure in order to manage their costs, because labor is the number one cost. And this is adding an incredible layer of challenge to the labor cost.
Congratulations, Mayor Mamdani. I want to talk a little bit about this idea of government-run grocery store. And there has been a successful case of government-run grocery store and where it fills in this kind of food desert problem, typically in the low-income area where the groceries, the fresh and healthy food are not available. So for example, in the small town called St. Paul, Kansas, and this local government run a very successful grocery store. However, there are also different cases. Another case is just a nearby town called Erie, Texas, and then the local government-run grocery store has not been successful. The local government will struggle with financial difficulties. And the reason is that the grocery store is a very competitive business with a low margin. So I think the government-run grocery store can actually be like a utility. It can fill in the area where the private sector is not adequate, however, does not need to dominate the market.
Politicians campaign in poetry but must govern in prose. So now that you're elected, Mayor Mamdani, what are the next concrete steps for making New York City's housing market more affordable? One important proposal could be to give grants to landlords who have currently kept their properties off the market because they're too expensive to maintain. Give them a forgivable loan, conditional on them being in good condition and remaining rent stabilized. Second, work with Albany to soften the 2019 rent stabilization laws. They are too onerous for landlords in terms of their ability to pass through actual repairs and maintenance that they make into the rents. Give them some allowance to pass some of these necessary repairs through. And third, build more housing, increase the density of our city. There's a lot of parts of New York City that could benefit from more housing and more density. And almost regardless of where we add housing, more supply will lower the rent for all New Yorkers. Best of luck.
We know that childcare costs are a huge brake on people's investment and participation in the labor force. In many cases, the burden of these costs fall most heavily on women's job market participation because of the gendered roles of childcare in the home. We also know from several studies and experiments that expanding access to affordable childcare can get people back into the workforce to deploy the incredible skills and wisdom and experience that can add to economic growth and total output over time. Now, an affordable childcare program here in New York City may certainly lead to those kinds of gains, but it's not absolutely obvious that the returns to taxes will fully pay for the costs of additional childcare spending here in the city. Nevertheless, we don't expect every good social policy to pay for itself, and it is worth experimenting with new ways of ensuring access to childcare is equitably and accessibly found by all members of the workforce in New York.